Everyone, welcome to another CEO Wisdom podcast. Today with us, we have Vivek Das. He is CEO at Foxymoron. We're going to talk about a bunch of agency stuff, CEO stuff, sales stuff as well, and growth stuff. So Vivek, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and tell us a bit more about Foxymoron also?
Thank you so much, Charles. Very glad to be here and sharing this story with all of your listeners. I'm Vivek. I'm the CEO at Foxymoron. My background is in media and advertising that I've been in for about the last 20 years, 2 decades. I've worked in entrepreneurial capacities. I've worked with startup agencies as well as with the largest advertising conglomerate in the world, which is WPP. I was part of Wonderman and Mindshare for the last 12 years. And had some amazing learnings working across different categories of different sizes of brands and clients, both locally in India and globally. I decided to come work for Foxymoron, which is India's foremost independent digital agency. Started about 15 years ago by two young boys who were 19 years old at that time, with a strong belief that they can create a unique agency model. And they've actually come a long way. Our holding company is Zoo Media. And as it stands today, we are the largest independent advertising agency network in India. And with over 600 people, we've recently kicked off our operations in New York and Dubai as well. At the heart of Zoo Media sits Foxymoron, which is a full-service digital marketing agency focused across the funnel from creative to strategy to media and execution. In fact, we are at the cusp of our transformation into a large global network. We've recently joined hands with the Dawn Marketing Group in the United States, which is a collective of 15 of the strongest independent agencies in the US. And we're working quite closely with them to develop our US market, as well as our office in Dubai. At the heart of Zoo Media is Foxymoron, like I mentioned earlier. And we take pride in what we've built over the years with the kind of top tier brands we've worked with, as well as businesses that have started and grown along with us. Moving forward, our focus is to design an ecosystem which is sort of an hybrid of a consulting firm and a services organization with the ethos of an agency, so that we can fulfill the creativity that's needed in advertising. With the kind of process orientation that comes along with the services organization and a strategic intent that comes from a consulting organization.
Okay, and
So
what kind of clients deal with Foxymoron? Who do you target? What size of business? What industry?
So we work with clients across the spectrum, to be honest. At Zoo Media, of course, we have a specialized division that focuses on startups and smaller D2C companies. At Foxymoron, we tend to work with large-size clients. Some of the key names, of course, we work with Unilever, we work with Procter & Gamble, we work with a lot of prominent Indian businesses as well. So that's our focus market, even going forward, mid to large size.
And why would, let's say, Unilever, is it Unilever India or is it like Unilever from the US?
Unilever India. All the names that I'm talking about are India. As I mentioned, our US operations have just been kicked off, and we are largely focusing on building offshore capabilities right now, working with our partners in the Dawn Marketing Collective.
Yeah. I think, you can be very competitive when it comes to like the India market. Like you guys seem very creative. How do you compete on an international level with a US agency, let's say?
Yeah, so we have a two-pronged approach to that. As far as the ability to mine data and insights, the creative prowess is already with us. However, when it comes to creativity and strategy, you need a lot of cultural nuances. So we actually have an onshore team, a leadership team in place in North America, and with the extended strengths of the Dawn Marketing Collective, where each agency brings something unique to the table. That collective is supposed to lead the charge, whereas Foxymoron currently in the short term from India focuses on the offshore capabilities. So that actually also brings about a massive pricing advantage for our partners in the US. and especially with the current economic situation that the North American and European markets are facing, we believe that we are very well positioned to bring in both the quality and the right price to the markets.
Interesting. Talking about your role there, you were basically a vice president at Mindshare some time ago. Question for you: what's been your CEO experience so far, and how has it been to transition from VP to CEO?
I don't think any experience can ever prepare you for a CEO's job. But I'm quite grateful to the kind of opportunities I got in WPP. In fact, I'll just call out three unique opportunities. I was part of two founding leadership teams at WPP, setting up integrated agencies for PepsiCo and for Ford. This was an integration of three very diverse cultures of agencies within WPP, namely Wunderman Thompson, Mindshare, and Grey Worldwide. Very different cultures across mainline or offline media and digital media and creative and so on and so forth. So those two opportunities did do a great deal in preparing me for a CEO's job. My last role as the head of transformation at Mindshare was again something quite unique, which allowed me to work across different functions of the organizations, across HR, finance, IT, because a large part of the transformation job was to drive internal transformation and then take it to our clients, right? Because practice what you preach, what you practice. Yep. However, coming into an independent agency, working in an organization that employs 10,000 people versus now leading an organization which employs 600 people are two entirely different experiences. It does give me a lot of control, a lot of agility in decision making, and great partnership with the founders. So quite exciting, and actually more excited about the new blueprint we are creating for the new agency model moving forward.
Interesting. The founder, where he focusing his energy nowadays? Has he transitioned to an innovation role, and he was less comfortable at managing the day-to-day? How did that go?
Yeah, so between the two founders and me, we have clearly segregated our priorities and roles. So one of the founders is solely focused on the corporate development, which is the expansion of our network, strategic partnerships, our joint ventures, and as we expand the funding that is needed. The second co-founder is more focused on the business development aspect of it. That's what he specializes on. And my job as a CEO is, of course, to run the organization and to set up our global offshore centers to engage with our partners across markets and our clients as well.
So you said you manage around 600 employees. What's your day-to-day like? How is it to live a day in your shoes? Like, is it a lot of meetings? Do you meet with business heads? How does this work?
So that's actually quite different in my style as a CEO. Fun thing, let me just clarify. 600 people is the strength of the Zoo network. Foxymoron, which is the flagship agency, has 200 employees, which is what I'm directly responsible for, aside from my global responsibilities. A day in my life, this is month one. In fact, we're talking today, and I've just completed 1 month in my new job. And I think the big change that we are about to bring in our business with the model I just spoke about earlier, it requires a lot of involvement and participation at a ground level, as well as understanding of how people operate and how our culture can be shaped at a ground level. So these days, I have a lot of one-on-one interactions with people from the junior most level all the way to the senior most level. Of course, there are those weekly discussions with the business heads and with the different department heads. I also tend to action anything that comes to my table within 24 hours. So I don't let any issue or a new requirement sit with me for more than 24 hours, right? So that also creates another stream of engagement with the key stakeholders within the organization, because agility is of the essence.
And does it feel like the Normandy landings in which you're being bombarded like from every directions and you're kind of overwhelmed? Or how do you keep that mental space? That is it by structuring and planning, but even then, like, it's so chaotic when you you land in, you know, a new environment with like new stakeholders, new employees, new clients. How is it like the first month there? Like, is it chaotic, or so far is it under control?
There's actually a funny story. So yes, it is overwhelming. 100%. I will not belittle that. And while I knew what I was signing up for, coming from a very well-structured, large organization where things just work as part of a large machinery, to coming here where we're now trying to build that kind of a structure is an entirely different experience. Things can get very chaotic. So I have a very disciplined routine. I'm in bed by 10:30 p.m. and I'm up by 6 a.m. The morning 2 hours are reserved for me. A lot of this inspiration actually comes from one of the books I read by Robin Sharma called The 5 a.m. Club.
Yeah, one
Of
of
course,
my
I
favorite.
didn't. Yeah, of course I can't do 5 a.m. So my 5 a.m. is 6 a.m. So the morning 2 hours are for me to charge up and to prepare for the day that's ahead of me. Then I have about 1.5 hours blocked to focus on priorities that I need to take care of. And 10:30 p.m. onwards is when my meetings get scheduled. Um, I The other big thing that I've learned over the years is this: despite how uh, uh, demanding a situation may seem like, as a CEO, you need to step back and you need to decide whether you're going to jump in or you're going to take some time to process and delegate. You have to say no, but it's not just about saying no. It is about solving the whole situation and delegating it right. And that's how you don't fall into the trap of chaos.
What advice would you give for new CEOs finishing up this podcast here?
I think we are in a modern age where we're overwhelmed by data and technology. But let us not forget that, especially for CEOs of services organizations, at the end of the day, it's about people, it's about culture, and the processes that we create should only be aimed at enhancing the capability and the productivity and the creativity of people, and to further enhance the culture. So never forget people. Always keep people at the heart of all of your strategies.
True. Good lessons. Vivek, where can people find out more about you and Foxymoron?
All of the information is available on two locations. One is you can visit our website, zoomedia.in. You can also check out foxymoron.in. You can look me up on LinkedIn. My entire career biography is mentioned over there, and I post quite actively as well about leadership, about transformation, and change.
All right. Thank you so much, Vivek.